And good afternoon, my dear brothers and sisters. The Archdiocese of Cáceres, our Archdiocese, is very blessed to have the presence and the ministry of many religious or consecrated persons. We have, if I'm not mistaken, around 23 religious communities of women and 5 religious communities of men. And they are helping the Archdiocese immensely in the field of education. They run most of our Catholic schools. In the field of health and medical care, they have clinics catering for the poor. We have communities engaged in deep prayer. We have the Carmelite nuns, the contemplative Carmelite nuns, the only contemplative community we have in the Archdiocese. We had communities involved in pastoral work, assisting in the parishes, from being secretaries to being catechists or pastoral workers. We have congregations whose focus is looking after the welfare of the elderly, the abandoned children, our orphanages. And we have sisters who are dedicated in the promotion of spirituality through retreat or spirituality seminars. So indeed, we are very blessed with the presence and ministries of these consecrated persons. But more than their function, their role, their ministry, we are blessed because these religious communities serve as a reminder for us how to live our Christian faith, our Christian life. And that is, we have to radically follow Jesus in his being poor, obedient, and chaste. And so these religious men and women embraced the life of Jesus in a radical manner through the vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience, and most especially in their commitment to serve the church. Likewise, the religious have for the inspiration not only Jesus, who walked and lived his life in utmost obedience to the Father, whose life was totally inclined in helping the poor, and most especially in utmost self-offering by not embracing a valid and beautiful relationship of getting married. No. However, they have another inspiration, a woman whom they consider a true model of what it means to be a consecrated person. Not just a woman, but the mother of the church. Your mother, my mother, our mother. Because Mary radiates the very essential qualities that Jesus would like each and every disciple and follower of Jesus must exhibit in his or her life. And in today's Mass, the religious are reminded to radiate, to illuminate, to manifest the gentleness, the humility in a world that is so power hungry, hungry for power, in a world that is harsh, brutal, arrogant. The religious, their way of lives, their presence, and also at the same time reminding us to walk the ways of gentleness, humility, and compassion. My brothers and sisters, in the gospel that we've heard, Jesus spoke of a very essential element or demand of our Christian faith, and that is forgiveness. And forgiveness flows from a heart that is gentle and a heart that is humble. If a person is proud, if a person is hard, he is not capable of forgiving, but is capable of underscoring, underlining whatever hurts or evil that has been done to his person. His words are words of vengeance, revenge, death. But a follower of Jesus, a son or daughter of the Blessed Mother, lives with a heart that is gentle and humble and willing to forgive, because all of us have been forgiven by God. For God, our God, is a God of compassion and mercy, rich in kindness, full of compassion and mercy towards us. If such is our God who has called us into existence, if such is our God who continues to journey with us, who are we to be different from Him? Who are we to resist the very qualities and demands He would like us to live? And so God tells us, in your life, be ready to forgive. The meaning of 77 is not so much a chronology or numbers, but it means forgive as often as you as demanded. Because God's forgiveness is infinite, perpetual, ready to forgive. So as must we should be ready to forgive anyone who has done or caused us evil. And we also should be ready to seek forgiveness from others. I know it is easier said than done. We know that. The mind may want to forgive, but the heart, because of the pain, the deep-seated pain, resists to forgive. And that is why we need to pray so that we may learn to forgive. Dahil kung tayo lang po, talagang mahirap at hindi natin kaya magpatawad. Kaya nga dapat tayong manalangin na turuan tayo ng Diyos na magpatawad. And you know what? When you forgive others, you think they will benefit? Yes, they will, because you've forgotten them. You have forgiven them. But ang talagang siyang the one who really benefits in an act of forgiving is the one who forgives. Because when you forgive, you are liberated from the prison of pride, from the prison of self-centeredness, from the prison of the ego. When you forgive, you're like a dove flying free unto the sky. But as I said, forgiveness entails gentleness, humility of heart. Jesus on this earth forgave people, forgave sinners. Why? Because He was a humble Son of God. St. Paul says, He humbled Himself, so humble that He was willing to offer Himself. He set aside all the honors due to Him as God, embraced humankind in all its frailties except sin, and gave Himself so that we may be free. When there is humility, peace, and forgiveness, peace is not far away. Alam niyo po, nung ako po'y naging auxiliary bishop ng Maynila, inassign sa akin ni Cardinal Sin ang 4 cities of PPLM, Pasay, Parañaque, Las Piñas, Muntinlupa. Alam natin sa Muntinlupa, nandiyan ang Bilibid Prison, di ba? So during their fiesta, February 11, I offered Mass. And then I told the residents, they should not be called prisoners or inmates. Ayaw po nila yan. They prefer to be called residents. Maski here, we call them residents, or persons deprived of liberty, but residents, Sabi ko, brothers, gusto kong puntahan yung mga may karamdaman ng mga residente, and I will bless them. Sige, Bishop. So 6 big, burly, tough guys accompanied me, parang bodyguard, each one holding a thick rattan na pamalo. So I was surrounded with ako dito, para akong presidente dito. So we went to the clinic. I went to the first room. I said some few words of consolation, blessed the patients. Then I moved to the next room, again followed by the 6. The third room, ganun din. So I was surrounded by the 6 bodyguards. On the way to the 5th room, the one in front, the biggest of them all, full of tattoo, tough guy. He turned around and said, Bishop, ano niyo po si Judge Tirona? Ako naman, ang yabang ko. Kapatid ko. Sagot niya, Bishop, siya po ang nagsentensya sa akin. Diyos ko, pinawis na kagad ang ilong ko. So while I was blessing the patient, I was looking at him with my other eye. Baka ito na ang ganti niya. Wala naman nangyari. But while walking to the next room, he was quiet. So I touched his elbow and I said, Oh, brother, kamusta ka naman? Ay, Bishop, okay na po. Mapayapa ang damdamin ko. Kasi po, ginawa ko naman po talaga pinagsisisihan ko. And I said, anak, napakapalad mo. Bagamat ikaw ay napipiit sa lugar dito na matataas na pader, pero sa totoo lang, dahil sa iyo kapaumbabaan, malaya ka. You're free because of your humility and truthfulness. Samantalang sa labas ng bilanggong ito, napakaraming tao na dahil hindi marunong aminin ang kanilang mga pagkakasala at pagkakamali, sila ang tunay na bilanggo and worst imprisonment because they're imprisoned in the darkness of their soul. And that soul will be the one who will stand before God. Sabi ni St. John of the Cross, at the sunset of our lives, when we stand before God, we will only be judged on one thing. How much have we loved? And to love is to be gentle, to be humble. Love is to forgive. Love is to forgive. Non-negotiable po yan sa ating Christian faith. Hindi ka maaring tumawad, Lord, pwede ba? I can follow you except the commandment of forgiveness. Please naman, wag naman yan. Gagawin ko lahat, wag lang ka magpatawad. Sorry, non-negotiable. Jesus was very explicit. Unless you know how to forgive from your heart, the deepest deep of your being, God will never forget you. At kapag puno ka ng pagkakasala, inggit, galit, vengeance, kasamaan, at namatay ka, ano man ang pamisa mo, ano man ang donation mo, walang saysay yan. Dahil yung pinakamahalagang yugto ng buhay mo na dapat mong gampanan, hindi ka sumunod sa Diyos. Hindi maring bilhin ang kabaitan ng Panginoon. And who cannot buy? who cannot buy, yet they're forgiven. The poor, the simple, the humble. They have no power. Their only power is to shout and say, "Oh God, have mercy on me. Oh God, forgive me." Yun ang kanilang yaman, kapakumbabaan. We're all familiar with the law of reversal. Yung ngayon nagsisikat-sikatan, ibabagsak ng Panginoon. Yung mga nagpapakumbaba, iaangat ng Panginoon. The forgiveness of God restores broken relationships, heals wounds, injects joy, and above all, makes us aware that we have been gifted with the gift of love. The gift of love. My brothers and sisters, all of us carry certain pains because we have been aggrieved or we have aggrieved others. It is no use running away from them. It is no use closing our eyes and pretending that such a thing does not happen, or there is no such thing occurring in our hearts. We do carry certain grudges. We do carry certain wrath or anger. Gusto natin makaisa. This is the moment when we have heard Jesus to humble ourselves before Him and says, like Peter who said, "Lord, stay away from me. I'm a sinner." And when we say that, Jesus will not stay away from us. On the contrary, He will embrace us and say, "My son, my daughter, do not worry, because my Father loves you, and His love is compassionate, merciful, and loving." This is what the gospel is telling us. As we go home to our respective communities, let us be aware of this. We should be channels of God's compassion, mercy, love, and forgiveness as the Blessed Mother. Amen.